You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Thank you for tuning into today's Training Thursday, where we're going to talk about how to take your exercise to that next level. Now, it doesn't matter to me if you're walking right now, you're doing some jogging, your exercise bike, or you're doing some boot camp classes or whatever it might be. I want to tell you that no matter what type of exercise you're doing, you can actually get more results out of it, but not put in any more time. So that's what I want to chat about today. And these are some things that we've really fine-tuned over, I would say, the last 20 years. That's me personally as an individual, but really in terms of exercise physiology, exercise science, looking into how the body changes and has to adapt to certain movements. That's what I love to share with people, because I don't think anybody wants to really work out longer, but of course, everybody wants better results. That's what we'll talk about today. Now, what I want to go over today is how to track your workouts. But before we do that, let's talk about why that even matters. You know, if I'm going to ask you to actually track your workouts, I need you to know why. And the reason is this, is that sometimes we look at each day as an individual, but not the month as a whole, not the 2 months or the 3 months as a quarter. And all of that matters. So when I say that it matters, I look at missing one workout does not matter. It really doesn't. People are like, oh, well, I have to get to the gym, this, and this. Trust me, the one day is not going to change your body transformation results or health results at all in the long run. But what does matter is the lack of growth, the lack of improvement, or the adding up of missed workouts. So what I love people to do is, okay, yeah, let's track it on your daily basis, on your weekly basis, your monthly basis, but let's look at the last quarter. And if you just keep a simple, you can use an app, you can use using your phone, your iCal, any of these things would be fine. And you're actually just going to write in your workout, like when it was completed. And I want to see if we look back over the last month and the last quarter, and this is a really fun exercise, it really is. Let's just say you make it a red day if you exercise. And then if it's not a red day, then it's white. Let's just, put it like that on the calendar. So now I want to see on your calendar for that last month, more red days than white days. And well, what does that mean? Well, it means I want to see 16 days out of that month, at least half, more than half of that month is red colored, red shaded rather than the white. And I know that seems like a small thing, but it's enormous. Like, we're going to get into more details in a minute, but just that alone shows consistency. Now, what I really love to see is 66% of that month shaded red. What does that mean? I want to see 20 days out of those 30 days, or maybe just 21 days or so, 22 days out of those 30 days shaded red. Now, if we look at that, you still get 1 week off a month. And if we look at that as a whole, it's still 1 or 2 days off per week. Now, if you do that, it's 2 days off per week. That's 8 days off per month out of the 31 days. You're still going to get about that 2/3 shaded. That's fantastic. I mean, I really believe that for most people, even if it's just activity, even if in the beginning it's just your 10,000 steps, showing yourself progress is all that matters. Or as my Canadian friends like to say, and I've actually been working with a lot of Canadians over the last couple of weeks, so it's kind of funny, is progress. We're making progress. And I love that. It's like we're moving forward. There's progress or progress forward, progression. And so that's what I need to start with. Now, it doesn't matter to me whether you're using paper and you're just literally putting an X on a calendar if that was a workout day or not. That's fine. That works totally great. But now I want to talk about how to actually track your workouts, because that's what matters. This is not going to be a long show. I just want it actionable. I want you to be able to take this, whether it's today, tomorrow, or next week. I want you to start actually putting this to good use, because it does matter and it will get you tremendous results. So when I work with my private clients, and I'm really, again, like, I love body transformation. I love personal training. I love just the development that comes along with it, because it's not just a workout. It's actually helping someone transform their life, but using exercise is just one of those modalities. And I still do it for half a day a week. And to be honest, it's my favorite half a day a week. It's so great. I really do love it. I love the connection that I have with my clients that I consider my friends. It's a lot of fun, and I still get to do that every Tuesday from 7 a.m. until about 11:45 a.m. And I'm telling you, it's great. I get to stay in it. That's what it's all about for me. Of course, I love the wellness. I love the functional medicine. I love the anti-aging. I love all of that. But I also love the connection that comes along with moving your body. And I love to take people through the workouts that I create. And I create it for them because one is I know their body, know what their body needs, but also I want to see that body moving through space, that body progressing, that body having to fight harder than it did last week. And that's what we're tracking. Okay, so don't rely on memory. I told you, just shared that little story because I still use paper. I love the act of journaling. I love the act of paper. So I create a 4-week to sometimes 5 to 6 week program for my private clients. And so what I do is I write in the exercises. That's what they're doing over the next 4 weeks. Those aren't going to change, okay? Now I'm going to tell you right now, there are some things that's going to change and there are some things that aren't. Remember, tune back to previous Training Thursdays. I talk about whether you should change up your workout every time or not. The answer is usually no, and you'll get that on previous Training Thursdays. I can't go over that today, although I'd love to, but I can't. So what I want to say is this, is we take that paper and we track it. And I want to tell you, there are a few things that you have to track, not everything, just a few things that make the biggest difference. But why use a piece of paper or why use the app in your phone or why use whatever you want in the first place? And the reason is that you have to track. You can't rely on memory. Your memory is fuzzy. It's really like, oh, I think I did that weight last week, or I think I did this many reps, but you don't know, you don't remember, and hopefully you're doing 3 workouts or more per week. So again, don't rely on that fuzzy math or that fuzzy thinking to get you through it. So here's what we want to do. We need to make sure our body is progressing each and every week. Why does that matter? Why do we care? Well, the reason is this. You can't make a physical change in your body without some type of additional stress. Now, stress usually we talk about as a bad thing. In this case, I'm talking about a stressor in the body where the body has to adapt. And when it adapts, it essentially gets stronger, whether from the nervous system perspective or the muscle perspective. But if the results you want, or from an aesthetic standpoint, it's going to do that as well. And that's because for the most part, I know it's not for everybody because you could be, guys and girls could be using steroids or they could be using drugs. They could be, doing all sorts of things to transform their body. But for the most part, as a general rule, for the people just eating some good nutrition and they're exercising in the gym, if that body's in shape, it's a lot of times a good sign then they're on the right path. Now, again, sometimes we can take things too far, and we've talked about that in the past as well. So I'm not going to talk about that today, but what I want to make sure is that you understand is if you follow this, your body will transform as well. So what is it that I want you to track? And it doesn't have to be a lot, but you only track how your body could progress. So here's the thing. We're going to look at your reps. We're going to look at the increase in the resistance or the weight that you're using during your workout, or an increase in the volume. Now, what does all of that mean? Repetition means the number of times you move a weight or your body. For example, let's say you're doing squats and you're holding 2 dumbbells on top of your shoulders, and we'll call it a front squat. And you're squatting down to a chair, a bench, or just on your own, okay? So if you do that for 12 times, that's considered 12 repetitions, okay? So that's repetitions. If you did it for 10 times, it would be 10 reps. That's how we talk in the fitness industry. All right. Now, what about weight? What about the weights that you use? Well, if I'm holding 10 pounds on top of my shoulders, like I just talked about, the first set might be 10 pounders, the second set might be 12s, and the third set might be 15s. Again, it just depends on the person, the volume, the weight, all those different things for progression. Okay, that's me moving up in weight. That could change each and every week in each set. Okay, now what's the third way to track? Well, the third way is the number of sets that you're doing, or if you increase your reps. Now, volume means the entire load of the workout. So let's just say I was doing, this is very common for me to do, especially with some of my clients in their 60s. I'll do 2 sets the first week and maybe even the second week. But in the third week and the fourth week, I'll do 3 sets of each of those exercises. And maybe let's say there's 6 exercises. So now volume wise, if I do 6 exercises, 2 sets each, that's 12 total sets. Hopefully you're following me. 6 exercises times 2 sets, 12 total sets for the workout, not counting the warm-up. And then in weeks 3 and 4, maybe I keep the weights the same because maybe it's body weight, whatever it might be. Now I'm adding an extra set. So now I have 6 exercises. The exercises never change. That's a variable that never changes. So if I have those 6 exercises and I do multiply by 3 sets, now I have 18. So I went from 12 sets in the workout to 18 sets. So that's an increase in volume. Your body can change that way as well. Okay, so here's the thing. In my workouts, I don't change the reps. And ideally, I'm saying you shouldn't either unless it's body weight. And that's really the only way that you can increase is to increase your reps, right? Because you're not adding more weight. Hopefully the weight's going down a little bit if you're trying to lose weight, right? So here's the thing. My reps are always the same. If I'm doing a squat-based exercise, let's just say in someone's program, it's 12 reps for the first set, that it might be 10 reps for the next 2 sets, okay? So the reps never change. So what I can increase each week are the weights that I put in a person's hands or the volume like I just spoke about, 2 sets for the first week, and then maybe go up to 3 sets for subsequent weeks after that. That's how I do it. That's what I track. So now let's give you a real world example before we wrap up this short and sweet show. And that's this. If I create a workout with those same 6 exercises like I talked about, maybe I do 2 in a row and then we rest and we repeat the 2 in a row and then we rest, we repeat the 2 in a row. And maybe we do that for 2 other supersets. Okay, we could do that. Or we do a triset, which is 3 exercises. We rest for 90 seconds or so. Again, these tips are on previous Training Thursdays of how to actually create a workout. And then you go on and you do another 3 sets. Okay, so that could be your 6 exercises, however you want to look at it. You could do 5 exercises in a row and call that a circuit. What I want you to do is just say, okay, well, I'm going to do 3 sets every week and I'm going to do 10 repetitions of every exercise. Let's just say that. Okay, great. You're doing 6 exercises. You're going to do 3 sets of each one and you're going to do 10 reps per set. Okay, so 10 repetitions. You're going to move the weight 10 times for 3 sets. That's it. Okay. So now the only thing in this scenario that we need to track is what? We only need to track our increase in the weights that we use. So again, each week now, going back to the example of the squats, you're going to do those squats for 10 repetitions. And you're going to do it for 3 different sets, 3 different times. Of course, you're going to give yourself some rest in between. Now, let's say week 1, you did 10 pounders and 12 pounders for those weights on top of your shoulders for a front squat. And then week 2, you started with 12 pounders and then the next 2 sets you went to 15s. And then week 3, you did 12 pounds, 15 pounds, and then your third set was 20 pounds. Do you see how I'm tracking this now? I'm making improvements each week by going up in weight. And now you found out in week 3 that 20 reps is really your max. Like that's the most you can do for 10 reps. Okay. No problem. We're going to do warm-up set of 15 pounds. Then we're going to do 20 pounds now for the last 2 sets. That's still an increase in weight. If you look at it, because the week before in week 3, we did 12s, 15s, 20s. Now week 4, we're starting with the 15s, and then we're doing 2 sets of 20s. That is a great progression right there. Now you've increased from the very first week of doing 10s and 12s, then to 12s, 15, 15, and then I can't remember all my examples, and then you moved up to last week of doing the 15s, 20, 20s. That is an amazing increase in your resistance on your body. That is how we get clients fantastic results. Again, it always goes back. You've heard me say this over and over. If there's one principle that you need to follow when you're trying to transform your body, it's the SAID principle, specific adaptations to imposed demand. And what that means is that if you ask more of your body each and every week, you will get more out of your body, and your body has to adapt. It has to change in the way that it looks and the way that it functions in order to move that heavier weight, because it thinks that that's its job is to move that weight. That's part of your survival. So it will do that for you, of course, to a certain extent, right? So in my example, you couldn't do more than 2 20s on your shoulders, which is 40 pounds. Okay, great. Well, what happens then? No problem. We just start then a new program in month 2. We just switch all of our exercises, and then we start to progress again. So yes, you can change your reps. Yes, you can change the number of sets that you do per workout. But the easiest thing to do is simply keep the reps the same every single week. Keep the exercises the same every single week for 4 weeks, but just progress your weights each and every week. It's a very easy thing to do, whether you're using kettlebells, bands, dumbbells, you name it. I mean, you can do that. You can follow this strategy, and you can honestly use any workout in the world, because I'm not talking about which one to do. I'm talking about how to maximize that workout right now, how to get the most out of it. I see too many people day in and day out. They want more results, but they're using the same weights every week. And if you use the same weights every week, and that's your max, well, then it's just time to change your exercises. That's all. But if you're not using heavier weights because you're fearing like bulking up or any of those things, you're not going to bulk up. Unless you're a male, ages like 15, 16 years old to maybe like 35 years old, you're not going to be able to put on as more muscle. And most guys that I know would kill to be able to put on that much muscle. It just doesn't happen naturally. So especially for women, I know there's a lot of women listening right now, you're not going to bulk up. And I always tell my female clients this, I said, at any point, if you feel like you're just putting on too much muscle, we'll stop. It doesn't happen overnight. So we'll just slow the progression, whatever it might be. So I want to keep it at that for today. I don't want to confuse the subject, but essentially you're going for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks maximum with the same exercises. You're going to stay roughly around the same reps, whether it's all 15s, all around 10 to 12, or all around maybe eventually some 5 sets of 5. You'll figure that out, all right? Exercise is the same, sets are the same. My first recommendation before getting more advanced, before tracking time or attention, any of those things, is just to progress in the increase in weights each week. So you do a chest press, you start moving up the weights each week for the 4-week squats, like in my example. You don't have to increase by a lot, but you do have to try to challenge your body each and every week. When you ask a little bit more of it without doing any more work, just adding a little bit more weight, it will adapt to those imposed demands and it will transform. It will change. That is how we've literally gotten people results for myself for the past 20 plus years. And really, I can't tell you a better way to do it. You combine that with good quality nutrition, the results will astound you within a period of 12 weeks. They really will. So thank you everyone for tuning into this Training Thursday Cabral concept. Really appreciate your listens. Please do feel free to pass this show along to anyone it could help.
Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.